Hello, Luis Martinez. How are you? Welcome to the channel. We in the Bronx. It's raining. To Harlem? Um, nah, probably not. Thank you for the like. Hey there, how you? Cool handle. Chopped cheese, bacon, egg on a roll. Sound like a classic New York sandwich. Gene. Uh, Gene Combs. How are you? Yeah, I just woke up. Used to work at the security right there on Concord Village. You know, a lot of people come on this channel and tell me that. I kind of figured that these places was bringing in workers. It's a lot of people come through here. Cause I know it's like 3 courthouses, probably 4. It's like a whole district right here. This Sherman Avenue and Concourse next block. Brazil, exactly 4 a.m., 4:05. It's 2:07 here, New York, Eastern Time. I just seen like 9 officers went into my building. But when I was coming out the building, it was squeaky clean. Couldn't hear a pin drop. But as soon as I walked out and started my live, I saw 9 officers went in my building. You never know when somebody snap. You in Florida right now, Kevin Gooney? I miss Florida. I used to go from, I lived in Jacksonville, so I go from Jacksonville to Miami. Miami was just for vacation. That had to been about 3 years ago now. No, probably 4. Well, probably 3. This is Grand Concourse. You miss New York? What part of Florida you in? I used to live in Jacksonville. And I had 2 jobs. I had one job on, I think that was, I want to say Jackson Beach, at a restaurant called First Watch, and I also worked it across the bridge, right from downtown Jacksonville, right across that bridge. I forgot the exact location, but the place called Tommy Bahama. If you know anything about the restaurant Tommy Bahamas, you'll know about all the other places over there, like the Gucci store and other stuff. Oh, Orlando? Okay. I think I passed through Orlando going to, I'm not for sure if I passed through Orlando going to Miami. Jacksonville is about 3 hours away. Drive fast. No traffic. Yeah. Now, I didn't know it was that far, but, well, yeah, that's about right. Jacksonville is more like up north Florida. Orlando is where Disney World located. welcome in, guys. We in Bronx, New York right now. Look like the traffic lights blinking. They all messed up. You see that, guys? All the traffic light blinking right now. That could cause a major accident. That's why them cars was honking at each other. Road rage. They need to get that fixed, man. You know, they claim it's a war. I didn't want to say. I'm going to try to use codes when I talk because the censor, YouTube violations and restrictions. But the war with Iran right now, you know, it's a lot going on, man. And any ex-veterans, if you're still young, you could get a letter at your door saying, we need you to go to war. But yeah, the lights blinking. I want to see how this gonna play out. I mean, it's just simple math. First come, first go. Hey, Cheryl from San Diego. What's up, Cheryl? From San Diego, California. Can't believe how quiet New York is. Yeah, everybody seems like they're getting the heck out of New York, if you ask me. They have not declared martial law over there yet, have they? Trump told the citizens to stay inside. It sounds like martial law to me. You just got to go off your survival. What's up to Sean from Chicago? What's up? What part of Chicago you in? We'll go back up this way. That's the Yankee Stadium over there. You from the west side? Scary, Cheryl. How you like it in San Diego? Low key, it's a vibe right here by the train station near Yankee Stadium. Well, that's the Yankee Stadium right there. The beach life, yeah, that's why I thought. The beach life. Now, that seemed amazing, you know. I wouldn't mind living the beach life myself. I mean, San Diego is more mature than Long Beach. San Diego is more complex. In other words, what I wanted to say is it's more expensive in San Diego than Long Beach. Certain parts. Not all parts, because hello from Las Vegas. How how's it going out there? How's it looking in Las Vegas? That's another place I wanted to visit, but before COVID hit, well, even right after COVID, my sister and them, they went because she was driving trucks, but she actually like hung around and had fun, you know. So it seemed like all the places I want to go, you know, you guys here to share it with me, you know. What part of the Bronx? This 161st Yankee Stadium. Great weather 81 degrees today. Well, right now here it's more like, oh, it's 81 degrees in Vegas. Wow. I thought it'd get cold at night in Vegas. My hand's probably the only thing that's cold, but it's not cold enough where I needed my gloves. I bought like 3 pair of expensive gloves, turned around, warm, and sold them because I felt like I wasn't gonna need them no more. And really, I don't like to wear gloves, but they really helped in the severe blizzards that we had. But the weather here is phenomenal. New York is an island. The weather is so different, and not only that it's an island, it's Easter Island. So you dealing with bizarre weather that's foreign. You know, you could get hit with some weather that humans haven't even we grew out of there. Like, we don't even know how to handle that type of weather. I'm telling you, man, they had stuff come through here. I've been here 6 years, and that was new. Like, every time it's something new here. That's why I stopped even worrying about what's gonna happen next. You can't even predict what's gonna happen around here. You know, you can't even keep up with it. And then, like I said, it's an island. Manhattan and the Bronx and Brooklyn, even Queens, they all experience different temperature. You know, like right now, it's not all that cold to me. I have on 2 layers. I have on a quality coat, and I have on a thermal and all that good stuff. So, you know, plus I feel great. I'm in good health, but still, the temperature's still different. I could be in Queens, this Bronx. If I was in Queens, it might be a little colder to the point I need my gloves. So, you know, that's a whole nother story. From Manhattan, stay safe, Mike. That's where I want to go, Manhattan. 81 degrees today. Right now, 11 p.m. And where you at, Elko? I bet it is cold in Michigan. My sister-in-law, she in Michigan. Y'all have a lake in Michigan also. It looked like an ocean. She sent me pictures and stuff. I think it's called a Michigan Lake. You want to go to Bronx? You love New York? Thanks for the subscribe, little DJ play. Shout out to Lil DJ. Lil DJ, you be DJing on TikTok and stuff like that? I see a lot of people doing it. Seem to be the trend. Yeah, Lake Michigan. Bronx, New York, Las Vegas. You know, it's a movie. I forgot what they call it. Old crazy movie. When they got drunk and all that. And Mike Tyson was in it. Hangover. That's the movie. It kind of trying to make Las Vegas look like, okay, this a party. This a party city right here, you know. And it made Las Vegas look real fun. Hey, Elko, thanks for the $3, brother. Man, I appreciate that, man. That warmed my heart. I wasn't really expecting, no money or anything like that. I really enjoy, If it wasn't because of the danger and all the propaganda, I'll stay out longer. I'll come out more. But you do get a lot of backlash for holding the camera, and some people, they don't like it. That's a courthouse right there on my left. It seemed to stay open 24. Elko, let me make you a moderator while I'm in it. That way you can stand out. I just made you a moderator. Thanks for the $3, brother. I really appreciate it. Where did you say you was from again? Didn't you say Las Vegas? I think that's how we got on this subject. Yeah, if I would have never got my apartment here in the Bronx, I would still be traveling right now. I had one day I just woke up and said, man, I'm from Mississippi. I'm not from New York. But one day I woke up and say, I'm gonna sell my car and everything. And where I'm from, it was much harder to get a job. Here I can hold down 3 jobs. I can get a job every other month if I want to. But I wouldn't do that. It's just bad for business. But I got other stuff going on, like doing what I just want to do. Like right now, streaming. That's something I would like to do, gaming. But back to the story. One day I just woke up and said, I want to leave this place. I don't want to keep being surrounded and living off my mom. You know what I'm saying? We had good experience, but one day it got too far when I got into an argument with my mom. And then the town I'm from was so small that everybody was in our business, So even my mom, when she retired, she even left the property. She really trying to move to a new city, but she waiting on the other half of her retirement, but that's another story. Speaking of my mom, I haven't talked to my mom, but one day I just said, man, I want to leave. That been 60 years ago. Because everybody they the same way, people the same way no matter where you go. It's who you are. But here's the opportunity is like 1,000 times better where I'm from. Because where I was from, you just surrounded by the same people that doubting you. And then eventually, I don't want to say it on YouTube, but eventually they end up unaliving you. You know what I'm saying? So I had to get away from that. That was the first step to becoming a traveler. That's how I started traveling. Then when I got here, they was trying to force me to get a passport in New York. Man, I ain't lying. They was trying to force me to get out the country. It seemed like here, man. We'll do everything, no charge, to get you your passport. They act like they want it got to the point where I was like, okay, pay for it. And I but they did have programs set up where they pay for it and get you your passport. And unfortunately, that's like the only goal that I didn't reach. I got driving license. I got New York driving license. Ben got that. Always had driving license. With a clean record. I accomplished having a job. There's some other things that still holding me back, but be safe, Echo. Yeah, Las Vegas. You didn't know jobs are like that in New York? Yeah, it's different from any other state in America. I don't care if you in Florida. I lived in Florida. Well, Well, I'm lying. It don't really matter where you at as long as you had experience. If you had an experience, even in Las Vegas, well, the economy booming in New York much higher. But the problem is getting a place to stay at, especially in Manhattan, you know. You surrounded by plenty of jobs, but it's about where you're gonna lay your head, you know. And like I say, getting my apartment, I had it backwards. First it was I had jobs, but I really didn't have a place to stay here at the beginning. I really didn't. I had programs helping me out, you know. Honestly, I had a program that gave me my own room, like a hotel. Actually, it was called a Savoy Hotel, right there on 57th Street, 7th Avenue, in Manhattan. Actually, that entire street is like Secret Service. I saw what's his name, the president, uh, Joe Biden. I met him one time. Well, I didn't meet him, but I saw him, and they had like some parade, and he was driving through waving at everybody. So, but anyway, they helped me out, and then I wind up what I did. Oh, I found the outreach to help me look for my apartment, and I agreed to pay the amount, and it went through like a little process where I had to. It took like a 3-4 months process, you know, for me to basically get accepted to the apartment. And you know, honestly, that's just one of the things I was praying for. You know, people normalize on saying, you know, praying, and I pray and they pray, but I really was praying for it. So I got the apartment, and then I ain't gonna tell you how good it got for me, but it got so good, still super good. I just don't like to brag, you know. But you know, really, I'm honestly only gonna get better. God say the same. That's my mission, to get better. It's good that you realize you stand on your own. Passport means freedom. Always cherish your mom and keep folks out your business. Yeah, exactly, Echo. And I'm just now seeing your message right after saying that I'm not gonna tell you how good it is, because I don't like to. That's just one of the things I don't like to do, is be all that proud. Only thing I'm gonna be proud about is serving God, and I'm gonna do that on at a certain time. I don't run around and throw God in nobody's face, and you know, I don't force my religion on nobody. Housing is tough. Yeah, I've been trying to move to a new apartment, but I got distracted with a personal injury, and that kind of took me away from what I had going. Embrace your blessings. I gotta pin that one, Echo. Do you have a gimbal? You want to start streaming and learn how it works? Yeah, brother. First, you just gotta learn how the algorithm work. And just actually the first step is you gotta actually love it or like it enough. You don't have to love it, but well, you kind of do, because you know that's kind of the first step that's gonna motivate you to keep going through the failure. You know, the failure is why most people quit, because It's gonna get so hard to the point you're gonna be like, nah, I'm not finna look like an idiot. I'm not finna do this stuff. And then that's where you lose it right there. Because if you kept trying maybe like the third or the fourth or the fifth or unlimited shots, take so many shots to the point you overdo it. And when you look back at it and be like, dang, I aced this stuff. It's levels to everything in life. Like even school, you got to get to certain grades. With church, you got to, in order to get to heaven, you got to get to so many levels. You got to pray. You got to serve God. You got to do right. So it's levels to almost everything, even with learning. So that's the whole thing. Nope, not on 161st. Thank you, SAARU6N. But yeah, streaming, honestly, I could be doing a way better job. I could be streaming from a car or streaming from, they got other cameras, they got hidden cameras. They got, I don't know anything about that because I never tried it. But I'm just saying, you could go live stream from your car or electric biking here in New York. So many different ways, and I could be live streaming from my laptop. I could take it far. But I'm only interested in completing these 4,000 hours, watch hours, is what I'm trying to do here. Right now, I got 3,900 watch hours. If I get to 4,000 watch hours, I can make money out the money pool. The money pool is basically, a bunch of YouTubers, especially the YouTubers that copyright, that got licenses. Okay, say if you got creators like a rapper, like for example, Finesse 2 Times or NBA Youngboy. I'm just saying for example. They license or they had a manager, they might have a manager or a label or whoever, agency or whatever. They under a license, so everything that belongs to them that make money off of YouTube, what if it's their old videos or whatever, or their account, whatever money that's bringing in, it goes to a money pool, and small creators can get they cut out the money pool. But you gotta qualify for it, and that's the whole thing. And another thing about YouTube people don't know is about what I was talking about, the failure part, where you gotta fail so many times where you just can't, almost every trick. They're not gonna tell you, there's no school for it. They're not gonna tell you why they restrict your account, why they gave you a violation, why you're not getting no views, why you're not getting no subscribers. They're not gonna explain none of that to you. And in fact, they're just gonna flat out ban you if you even constantly bother. Or they just gonna shadow ban you, which means everything you do, nobody even know about your account. You just sitting up there doing stuff. But anyway, they don't tell you that. And to qualify for the money pool, you gotta have at least 4,000 watch hours or 10 million. First you gotta go on YouTube and learn any damn thing that you're interested in. That's what I did. I just started copying other people. People get mad when you copy their stuff. It's because they don't want you to know. And that's why everything is hidden. Everything is hidden, even with God. Certain knowledge is hidden. That's why they got the apple on the iPhone, the bidden apple, the knowledge of tree, Adam and Eve. Knowledge is power. And that's why they hide all that stuff, because the moment you find out, the moment you start levering up, you don't need nobody else. You can just go on, like, the internet free now. You can just go on the internet and learn it all and copy what they doing. Ask questions. They tell you that you asking a stupid question, but the truth is the question is never stupid. The most simplest question is the most organic, original, powerful question there is. The most simplest thing you think of that they say is stupid is not stupid. So start asking questions like, well, how the heck they getting thousands of followers in their sleep? Or how the hell they create music or whatever. I don't like creating music because it bring you a lot of fame or it bring you a lot of money real fast, and it bring you a lot of unwanted problems. They're gonna put the bag on you and all that good stuff, but if you're not a private person, I suggest you do it. But if you're a private person, you know, and like you real private, then I say don't do it. Because music or whatever, it bring you a lot of fame. You got 11 subscribers. They always know, bro, the tongue is a deadly weapon. So start asking questions like, well, how they do this, or how they make followers, or how they get money in their sleep, and start asking questions like, well, how can I make money without working so hard? You gotta execute the plan, and you gotta get straight to the problem and to find a solution. It's always a solution out there. First, you gotta get straight to the problem, and you gotta identify the problem, and then you gotta execute it. That's how you do it fast. And how I know, because I was playing chess in jail, and I was playing elite people that would never let a rookie win, and been in there for like, some probably already dead in there right now, probably still living in there playing chess. And I'm talking about they real good, old people, like true masters. I'm talking about beat anybody in chess. Would not even think about and gamble the highest dollar on it. But anyway, long story short, I always learn playing chess. It's a beginning game, a middle game, and an ending game. But you gotta plan it, you gotta strategize, you gotta use tactics, and you gotta maneuver, and you gotta use tactics. And you gotta execute. But the thing is, start asking questions like, if you comfortable, is only comfortable with what how my life going, because I ain't lying. I'm not there yet, but I'm trying to get there. Like right now, that's what I'm trying to do, execute. But people don't understand my route, why it took me so much longer. I got my excuses really me longer because I held up during jail time, worse, prison time, for only possession charges and charges that I caught while I was in jail, like aggravated assault, contraband of a cell phone. Almost got caught up on a racketeering RICO charge. That's what them charges well known for, prisoners. Anyway, after I managed to get out of all of that, just to only realize that everything that my mom used to tell me, which was the only person in my corner that was telling me right, I had to turn around and get away from my state. I'm doing all this stuff on my own. I didn't have no help. You know what I'm saying? I didn't have nobody that can pay for everything I needed. You know? I had to work for it, my car, all that. I sold it just to even have money, just to even make it up here. You know? I had to sell all my clothes and shoes and all that stuff. didn't even really care about it because I was thinking about the bigger picture, about all the time I wasted in jail, reading books. That honestly, that's the first time in my life ever reading a book in jail. Reading novels, we talking like series of books, 300 and 400 plus pages. New York best times. I was reading about New York in the Forbes magazines and different magazines before I even came to New York. I was reading real estate books, books like How to Be a Millionaire in 3 Months. The author, Ty Hicks, real estate tycoon, but the rules do change. Like, I learned a lot through all that stuff, but it still kind of take money to make money. Got up here and the plan that I have is simple. Is get approved for this settlement that I'm trying. Actually, I got 3 of them lined up. Is get approved for what I've been through. My disability checks got cut off for no reason. You see what I'm saying? You gotta be honest. It ain't your fault. People can't sit there and blame you because what you really don't have. But at the same time, you can't cry about it because everybody had the same problem. You just gotta. That's why I lay low and play slow until I make it. I want to accomplish everything in my 20s, but unfortunately, you starting your YouTube page, you're gonna do scratch off lottos. Hey, for real, man, if you good at it, I just say stick to it. If you good at something, man, latch on to it. I'm trying to make it either through this YouTube stuff, because see, anybody can make it in social media. I promise you, I made money off of all of them. Pay out money. TikTok, Facebook, and this is what people don't tell you. Every video that you strolling back watching, every click that you liking, you put money in their pocket. Every time you watch that video, every time you stroll and click one of their buttons, the emoji, write a comment, you put money in our pocket. And that's YouTube is switching over from television and movies. It's switching over from that to social media. But if you got a job and you got family and you got kids and you got all of that, you don't have time to be a creator. And I feel like that's what the job industry and that's what the school industry distracting people from. They're distracting people from. The thing about the school industry, we need schools. We need medical, we need all of that. But you might not believe this. I don't know who the hell taught everybody all this stuff from the beginning with. They say this word is more spiritual. More spiritual than we even know. But knowledge is powerful. And I say we do need all of those. The basic was good. I say it was passed down through us from God. But at the end of the day is the basics are good, but they not telling you all. They didn't really tell you how to make money in high school or middle school. They just taught you the basics on how to count, how to read, how to write, how to comprehend, and taught you a little bit of your history. That was cool. But they had enough time to actually teach you about, about how this world really is, like the survival, like the truth about what really happened. They taking you really see what's supposed to happen is instead of teaching us the basics, they supposed to I feel like all schools should let you out at about 15 or maybe 15 years old, something like that, a little bit earlier, probably 14, and automatically had everybody making money. But that wasn't the case. And that's where the school failed you at right there. They held everybody back, acting like they teaching you a bunch. They was teaching you the basics. That was good. We learned that. We needed that. But everything else that they did was just prolonging your life to make you a cattle, a wage slave. Work you to death like you're a machine. That's the real truth. And if you don't now, since I've been on my own and doing my own thing for 6 years, since I escaped the matrix, one thing I did learn is that now the rich against the poor, they making it to where you can't escape, because if you go poor, not only that you lose your job and everything, and not only that you lose your lights and you lose your the good stuff, you finna start going to jail. You finna start going to jail for not paying up to this society, not paying the taxes. It's the same government that crucified Jesus. The same Pharisees, the same lawmakers, the same tax collectors that crucified Jesus and told him he couldn't live. They ain't taxed Jesus because Jesus lived off the land. Man, Jesus ain't go for that. All this worldly stuff is passed down through Satan. All this knowledge, they lying to you like the alien crash and they got all the technology. That's not how it happened. It happened through what they don't want you to know. You see what they're doing with Hillary. They claim that's not even the real Hillary. But you never know, man. They got Ephesians, I think Ephesians 6, I'm not for sure, it's Ephesians chapter 6. It's talk about how they're wicked people in high places, you know. The principality of darkness. And that's just the truth. It really is the truth. We not only wrestle against flesh and blood, but against the principality of darkness. Wicked people in high places. That's in Ephesians. You could go look it up. That's not just a say. That's actually real. And they throw it off to you like the aliens and everything. No, it's not the alien. It's the demons. And it's true because the Bible talks about it, and they try to tell you about the book of Enoch and all of that. That's not what God wants you to know about. He wants you to know about the King James Version Bible, New Testament and the Old Testament. The New Testament is before Christ, and the Old Testament is after Christ came and died. And John predicted him before he even came in the Old Testament. They predicted him. King James, all of them knew he was coming in the Old Testament before Jesus even appeared. The Bible still in Proverbs, the proverb is the part that they talk about food and their money shall depart. The Proverbs talk about everything. You know, it talk about stuff that's going on today. You can never, it's so much knowledge in the Bible, nobody on earth could ever know it, don't know the whole Bible. I don't care what degree your preacher went and got in Bible study, he cannot tell you every single thing about the Bible. Don't nobody know when Jesus comes but God. He can't tell you that. The answer might be in the Bible, but it's still hidden, you know. The Bible is real. It changes with the day. You know, they got a book in heaven. The pages never stop because your name on it, and then your name can go off the book. But it comes and go, I guess, you know. Only God knows. But all I can say is I don't believe these people, you know. Cause I'm not following every law. I'm not even paying my bill, but some kind of way I still get, you know, I'm good. It don't matter what flame they send me through. I seem to always make it out. I left my family. I went completely without. Only thing I had was toothpaste and a towel. I had my ID and my social security card. At one point, I ain't even need that, but I went on here and took it, you know, took it with me. I had all that in a cross bag, a bag that you throw across you like a Louis Vuitton bag. And I had one of those little small ones. And like I told you, it had a zip department inside of it where it can hold my license and my social security card. I had toothpaste, toothbrush, and an old towel in there. And that was really about it. And I just changed clothes and all that wherever I got to. Got a job, afforded a hotel, started out with cheap hotels, then it wound up to meeting landlords and paying for me a place where I can cook, have a shower, and all that stuff until I got up here. And then the chances were way better, but yeah. Proverbs, spiritual principalities. Is your country safe to walk that time of night? Prophet book in the Bible. Blessings and love to you, T. Janet. You know, you think Trump them gonna push the buttons? They couldn't push the button if they wanted to blow the whole world up. They couldn't do it without God's permission. See, Satan got to get permission from God to tempt you. And God got to allow that to happen. You see what I'm saying? They show you everything to television. That's why it's called television. Television is, or program is to program you, or television is just basically telling you through the portal. Telling you, you can't say it's real or not. You know, we live in the times where you can't say that stuff. It's not real. Entertain. They come in, enter you, and tame you. You know, so all they put all that stuff out there because they kind of got to show you, or they don't have to, but they show you because when Satan was kicked out of heaven, you know, the book of Enoch may be the truth, but I feel like God don't want us to focus on the book of Enoch because it kind of could be manipulated. And the one thing what makes it strange to me is when they talk about the fallen angels, on how Satan was cast out of heaven. And because I read, like I said, I read this in jail. I had never even read a book till I was in jail. Yeah, I read the books at school or whatever, but it was like doing sections every day. In jail, you read that more until you finish it, you know? And like I told you, I even read the Bible from Genesis to Revelation, but I forgot all that stuff. You know, we talking about years ago. And then I was just, you know, young and trying to still figure stuff out. That don't make me an expert. Right now, I really couldn't tell you one scripture. But I promise you, my eyes done seen through from Genesis to Revelation. I remember it took me like 30-something days because I didn't understand a lot of the stuff, but I was still reading it. But now that everything coming back to me when I go on YouTube or something, or I hear people preach about certain stuff, it come back to me and I think about, oh, so that's why I read that in the Bible, and that's what this means. Because you can't really take everything literally in the Bible. You got to take some of it spiritually and biblically, and you got to prepare yourself for that, because how it talks about all the nation, Babylon and all that, and they talk about this statue with the head and with the golden the golden shield, golden foot, the golden feet, the bronze legs and silver arms and all that. You can't take all that literally. It was talking about different countries. And I had to figure that out, you know, by listening to a scholar break it down. But yeah, you know, the book of Enoch goes a little bit too deep into talking about fallen angels and all of that. But in the Bible, the 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 book of Enoch talks about the fallen angels. I think they called them watchers or something like that. It make it sound like it was some type of alien or something. And that's how I know that the book of Enoch was manipulated, because the King James Version Bible, the Christianity Bible, don't call them watchers. The Christianity Bible calls them Nephilims. Nephilims were sons or daughters of Satan and his angels that was cast out of heaven. And that's how, you know, honestly, that's how I believe a lot of technology and roadways and GPS, and like they lying to you about the moon, they've been to the moon and all of that. But a lot of this stuff got started from God, apostles and God disciples. A lot of these landmarks and hidden knowledge on how to infrastructure and get metal and how to work a plant and how to build a machine and how to build technology. It's like it's some type of excuse for magic. But in the Bible, it tell you people were living up to 500 years. People were living up to 700 years old. It was telling you on how holy they been had this stuff years ago. This ain't nothing new. The economy and all, they want you to think this the real economy, having a supercar and all that. They probably had stuff 10 times better than this. You know, they probably had real time traveler. All we know. You think having the new Spider Lamborghini or the newest Ferrari, you know, you got the best technology with the best iPhones and all this. Imagine what the FBI got. You know, they got a lot of this stuff because they the one that came and cleaned up behind people like Tom Edison and Nikola Tesla and all these. Who knows who was related to the Nephilims? The 5 families: the Rothschild family, the Rockefeller family, Tom Ford, Sam Benz, the people that created Mercedes-Benz and all these places like that. Because the Nephilims, the Bible talk about the Nephilims. The Nephilims were sons and daughters of Satan, and they were the ones that was interfering with humans, because they could basically do magic, you know. They could appear. They don't talk about all that in the Bible. That's where the book of Enoch come in. And for y'all don't know who Enoch is just, he back in them time with Noah. You might know Noah, the one that built the boat. But Enoch was a good man. And supposedly he was the only man that never died but still went to heaven. You could go look that up. You could go get your Bible. Don't take my word for it. But Enoch was one of the persons that went to heaven who never actually died. You know, in order to get to heaven, you got to die first. Even Jesus died. You see what I'm saying? And Enoch, he was a witness. He witnessed everything, you know. So people, I guess he had it. I guess he, you know, people remember that, and it was documented. So that's why they came out with the book of Enoch. And like I say, I don't promote the book of Enoch. I only read that book one time. I don't even like talking about it because for me, I'm more about the Bible. I don't go off the book of Enoch. I go off the Bible. The book of Enoch seems like it's trying to manipulate what's going on in the Bible, like I say, but I don't know. I just go off the Bible. The Bible said Nephilims. Nephilims was like magic, basically, because Satan tried to trick Jesus, took Jesus on a high mountain and told Jesus, I'll let you have all of this if you bow down and worship me. Jesus looked at him and said, why will I worship you when my Father? That's how you know that Satan is a master liar. He wants you to believe hell ain't real so you could come there. He wants you to think it ain't real. Hell ain't real. You could do what you want. You could do what you want. You could kill people. You could lie. You could rob. You could steal. You could fornicate. You could do adultery. You could do all of that because hell ain't real. You could go look this up right now. They had to fight over Moses' body. Michael the archangel and Satan fought over Jesus' body. Literally. They literally fought over Moses' body. Back then, in them time, Moses departed the Red Sea. You think what these dudes doing is superhero by stealing $100 million crypto, 100 million, a bit, by Elon Musk being a billionaire? That ain't nothing. That's just a piece of paper. That's just a piece of paper that they created. And we just go by that. Them standards ain't really high. Building a rocket ship with fake technology that probably presented by the devil, who Lord knows, who knows, because everybody know that space not real. It said it in the Bible. It said when he let the water, it said God created earth. When he created his sun, he said, let there be light. When he created the skies, he separate the skies from the waters. See, it's water up on. You know why the sky blue? Because it's a water that God. It's like more than the ocean. That's why he says, "Let the sky separate the waters from the waters." That's why when he flooded the earth, he opened the vault. Now this in the Catholic book. I read a Catholic book because I was in jail and I just wanted to read it. I read the book probably halfway through it, and I started reading, never read it again. But it talk about purgatory, and it talk about, because I don't believe the Catholic book neither. I believe the King James Version. But basically what the Catholic book trying to explain is when he flooded the world, he opened up a vault. But only reason why that got a lot of people attention because of the King James Version Bible, the original book, the original God book. The only supernatural thing that's kind of left on earth is the Bible. It talk about how it's water in the sky. That's why the sky blue. Listen, they never even been to space. They lying about the whole thing. NASA, if you look at NASA logo, that red thing, that red little logo that's going around the astronaut, that's a serpent. That's a satanic serpent. It look just like a snake. If you look at what else logo got one? If you look at the medication logo on the medicine bottle with the little pole and the little thing going around the pole, that's a snake. If you look that closely, you'll see that it's a snake. So they tell you, a lot of people made a deal with the devil. People like George, that claim George Washington, all the wars that they fought and all of that kind of stuff. I don't know how true it is. But all I can say is, who knows what truly happened? Can I imagine living in New York? What a beautiful neighborhood. Sure, wonderful people live there. It's 3 a.m. Let me read the comments. Spider-Man. I only seen Spider-Man in them. They showed Batman and the Joker. I would love to see New York person one day. The CEO of Lockheed Martin said they have technology 50 years before the public. Oh yeah. Yo, that's a fact. It say New York on the video. Like walking where they film King Kong and Spider-Man. Let me see. Stay safe and stay blessed. Good night, Echo. But yeah, I got so wrapped up in talking about this stuff, and guess what? I said my prayers and everything this morning, but I ain't gonna lie to you, I'm still the sinner. And that's one thing. God, one point, like the week before, I was doing good. I'm trying to control the levels of sins that I commit because ain't nobody perfect. But I try my best to still be the best. And I think that's the key to success, Just because you can live like it's GTA don't mean you should do it, Listen, let me tell you about the writers, like the artists, the hip hop artists. A lot of them music be stripped. It wrote by the devil. That's why they call them ghost writers. If you know about a ghost is nothing good. A ghost is demonic. Those are the spirits that come from the Nephilims. The Nephilims was talked about in the Bible. I think in the book of Genesis, somewhere in there, but it's in the Old Testament. It talk about the Nephilims, which were basically like magic demons, if you ask me, because they offspring is from Satan. But yeah, the artists is a lot of their stuff be stripped, and some of them really have raw talent. Like ain't no doubt about it. Like if you could be creative, because I'm creating videos, and people don't know that I create about at least 500 videos a week or 300. But I never in my life thought seeing myself doing this. And if you tell somebody this, they'll think you crazy. They'll think you over-exaggerating. But it's the truth. In order to get to the level you want to get to, you got to be kind of crazy. Like to be a billionaire, you got to be kind of crazy to be a billionaire, because you got to trust me, they done a lot. They doing way more than you could ever imagine. And it's a lot. Because how I know I'm being a creator and I'm bringing a lot to the table, and I'm only getting a little bit. So, imagine how much more I'm finna have to bring. And I can imagine what the other people had to do, like artists. I'm just a video editor. A real artist is different, like a music artist, hip hop singer or whatever is different from a video creator. They have to do way more work, a whole lot of writing. You down there got to be smart, but the thing about it, what people don't know, what we do behind the scenes is not actually real. I'm telling you, I know I've been doing this for like 2 years now, and I know I've been creating at least 200 a week, 300 or 400, 1,000 probably at the max. That's just how serious it can get. It's too much to even keep up with, because it got a database, an analyst, where it show us how much we do also. But I don't keep up with it. I know it's going to be a lot, and I know it's always going to be like that, but imagine what they doing. I know they creating so much more, man. It takes a whole lot of work. For example, I'm going to use Prince, for example. If you know Prince, Elvis Presley, Michael Jackson, all of them people. Prince, people don't know, but they got this documented. Prince actually created, he was doing thousands of videos, at least 200 or 300 a day we talking. They say he was so obsessed with creating videos, and he was obsessively I don't know if they had TikTok or what platform they had at the time, but they say he was submitting so many videos that it was almost pathetic. And only out of all them videos, and this how I know it's true, because what I'm about to say is part of the algorithm of today. That's how the internet worked today. That only a few of his videos went viral. And now if you look at the internet, a lot of people don't know, but as a creator, You might, like for example, in a day now, I only create like to the most 4 or 5 videos a day. I used to be like, I used to create like 10. I remember one time I was doing like 10 a day, 10 videos a day or 20 a day. Before they start hitting me with copyright and all that kind of stuff. Because you got to go through a lot of failure. Like Tom Edison, he attempted to make the light bulb 1,000 times before he even got it right. See what I'm saying? He had to fail 1,000 times before he got the light bulb right, you know? But anyway, I create all these videos, only one go viral a day. I delete all the rest of the stuff that don't go viral, and I keep the stuff that do go viral, you know? So that's how the oldest algorithm is I think, the Bible. I mean, not the Bible, but some book, some type of book or something. But algorithm been around, like, uh, technology first started off on pen and paper, you know, or just a simple tool like a chisel or something, you know. But I believe it was more to it than a man waking up one day and say, hey, I'm gonna learn how to build an airplane, or this UFO crash on somewhere in Texas at the one of them places, and then the scientists got a hold to UFO technology. Nah, it was way more to it than that, you know. But what's meant for us to know, you know, you'll know after the spiritual life, because this life is just like a vape smoke, you know. This is a short life on Earth. Earth is like a transit. I don't think this is our real home. And when I talk like this, if I talk like this, my mom or somebody will think I'm talking like I'm suicidal, like I'm ready to go or something. Nah, I ain't talking like that. I'm just being honest, you know. This is a short life. It's like a cigarette smoke. It's like a vape smoke. It's one puff and it's out. You know, people die at all ages. I ain't trying to sound offensive, but people go at all ages. You never know when your next, your last, you know. So this is really not the true life, you know. It really ain't. I'm just being honest. You more happy when you accept the fact that God got your back. God already said whoever was last on earth would be first in heaven. Whoever was first on earth would be last in the afterlife. You know, it's true. Cause God got the true judge. And what's better, a short life or eternal life? You know? This is just a test. That's why I call testimony. It's just a test. You know, we just gotta pass the test. Can a vampire be real? It said in the book of Enoch that the first woman it was another woman before Adam. I mean before Eve, and her name was Lily, and they trying to say she was a vampire. That's why I start reading the book of Enoch. And then I heard one time a while back, I think so, that was coming out with another book of Enoch. I say, nah, you know this stuff right here ain't right. The Dead Sea, the thing called Dead Sea Scroll, it claimed to be the last scrolls that were left with the Bible, the missing books of the Bible. But like I say, I'm not promoting it, and I don't indulge with that. I just stick to the Bible, you know. I don't go with that. But oh yeah, 100%. I'm willing to believe 1,000% demons are real. Because it said in the Bible, you know, they got into swine, they got into the pigs, and because no, it was a man had like 3,000 legions of demons in him, and Jesus cast out the demons, and the demons went into the swine, which is the pig, and the pigs went into the ocean and drowned themselves. Now, that let you know right there, but it was in the Bible. It was back, I think there was a New Testament, or Old Testament, I forgot, but that's why they don't eat pigs. That's the real reason why people don't like to eat pigs. Well, they say because pigs are filters, but I believe it's a deeper reason, you know? And yeah, people have, cause these demons, what these demons do is they get into people so they won't have to go to hell. So if they can get people to, they cause people to up a murder rate. Like you might have a serial killer, the demons he have might have him to constantly want to kill. You could get demons in you just by stealing too much or doing drugs. You can have drugs, drug demon. You can have sex demon. You know, that's why I say thou shalt not steal, kill. I mean, you know, you should not steal, kill, murder, and all this stuff in the first place because it's only gonna intensify. You know, but guess what? It ain't all about being a bad person. Cause look, on the cross when Jesus died, it was two people on the cross with Jesus. One was I think one was a killer or something, and the other one was a thief or something. They both were criminals. That's why they was being crucified. And they accused Jesus of the same government system that we have now, accused Jesus of stealing. And Judah traded him out for 12 shekels. Mel Gibson shot the whole video, the whole movie. So what happened is, one guy that was the thief and been doing Lord know what his whole life told Jesus, Lord, I believe you. The other one say, if you the Lord, if you Jesus, get us down from here. When they died, don't you know the crow, the blackbirds start pecking the one guy eye out? That's a sign saying he went to hell. People think that you gotta wait when you die. When you die, you hear people saying rest in peace. You know, they automatically think you going to heaven. And they think that you going to a resting place before you go to heaven until you get judged. No, 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 no. When you die, you go either heaven or hell right then and there. But the thing about it, you don't go to, I take that back. Because I'm not, go get your Bible. Don't take my word for it. But I know they got it in Revelation. Revelation talk about, you know, how God said, he was telling these people, they not fully in heaven, but they like in another spiritual place like heaven. But say, for example, if you die, your soul is eternal. When your soul come out, it don't necessarily die like your body. Your soul go to a place accordingly to how you live, you know. And the Bible describes it in so many ways that people actually know how it plays out on earth. Like right now, people know it's just not being preached and talk about it. Certain people's ears ain't even heard these stories yet about how true the afterlife really is and how serious life really is and how much of a test this stuff really is and how much of who actually in the shadows of high places like our governments that's in control of our food, control of our housing. The only way we even making it is because of God. Yeah, you have homeless people. Yeah, you have rich people. But that's all a strip. It's all like a big movie. This really all like a realistic movie, though. But it's more realer than you can even think. And that's what I'm willing to believe. You know, I'm willing to believe that because I done seen too much proof. Vampires and demons, alcohol, yeah, alcohol. If you look at the liquor store, they had a word spirits drinks. You know, they telling you because they want to let you know that, okay, you is being tempted, this is demonic, so you could agree to it. I'm gonna tell you how people sell their soul. You can't put a price on your soul because we don't own our soul. That's why God don't want you to be in control of your life, because you not in charge of your life. He want you to put him in charge, because if you don't put him in charge, then the devil gonna just take charge. See, the devil gonna, man, I ain't lying. When our soul come out our body, our soul don't die like our body. Our body asleep. But your soul come out your body and it look at your body and it see everything around you, but you can see 10 times clearer, and you can feel. Your soul think it got a real body, and it can feel way more than what you could feel in your real body. It can see more and smell more. The problem is two forces in control out in the spiritual world. It's two forces. It's either God or the devil. If your name ain't in the book, Satan can easily go. Satan got a book too. He can easily say, God, you said in the book right here, if so-and-so don't live accordingly, that he belongs to me. And God, honestly, got to go by the book, because that's what the book say. The book never lie. The Bible never lied. So God can't just go against his book. It's people in hell right now. Y'all don't even believe it. When you die, you don't wait. You go straight to hell if you deserve it, or you go to heaven. And this how I know hell real, because in the Bible it already talks about how the rich man was eating in front of the poor man, and the poor man wanted a crumb. And the rich people told him, no, you can't have a crumb, and the dog started licking the crumbs off the floor that the poor man wanted. But what happened was the poor man winding up going to heaven and the rich man winding up going to hell. If you think I'm lying, you could go look this story up on the internet and it'll take you right to the Bible. And you could go in the Bible and see this story yourself that I'm telling you. You don't have to take my word for it. But when the poor man got to heaven, Jesus took him to see the rich man that was in hell. And the rich man was telling him, please, it's so hot. Take your finger and dip it in the water and give me one drop. I'm telling you, he was begging for one drop of water in hell. I promise you, you could go look the story up right now. It's in the Bible. People think you gotta wait to get to hell. The people that crucified Jesus 2,000 years ago, they've been in hell for 2,000 years. You know, you don't wait. What's happened on Judgment Day is God take hell and he throws it in the lake of fire. That what happened on Judgment Day. Hell already there, you know. The ocean is bigger than the land. I wonder how many secrets. And that's the thing about it. That's the thing about our ocean. Our ocean is phenomenal. You know, we have whales that could swallow you. You know, you ever heard of the story when Joseph slept in the whale for 3 days? You know, so like you say, man, they say that one of the antichrists in the sea right now. In the last days, they say the beast will rise out the sea. And you know, you gotta think about this stuff, man. Satan right here on earth with us. Him and his antichrist, his followers, his demons, all of this stuff, man. We think we in control. They lying to you. Think about what COVID hit. See, the mark of the beast coming, where if you don't if you don't agree to selling your soul, then you won't be able to buy, sell, or trade. You won't be able to buy food or none of that. Think about how COVID hit. They told you if you don't take the vaccine, you won't be able to get a job. And who had the power to stand up to them? Who had the power to tell every man and woman in the world, not just the USA, but the world, if you don't take the vaccine shot, you will not get a job, you will not eat, It was people that had their job for 30 years had to quit because they wouldn't take the vaccine. Thank the Lord my mom had retired, bro. It's true. And see, the devil used racism. The devil behind racism. Satan is the only one that can get that mad and decapitate you, hang you, and it's all about slavery and power here on earth because earth is being attacked by Satan. Is Satan is a parasite and he's a detrimental disease. Like he attack all people. He calls people to hate. All he do is spread hate. You see what I'm saying? Racism is controlled by Satan. He created racism. Uh uh he created all forms of hatred. You know, greed. Look at this rat. A lot of these rats and pests and mice and animals and stuff, they be listeners. I'm telling you. Because if you think about the Bible, it talk about how all the angels had a head of a lion and stuff we didn't even understand. They describe the angels of, that's why when you see the jewelry, when they make jewelry, it have all them different like all them different big circles and all them diamonds that look like eyes and stuff. They say that's how angels really look. Angels don't look like no pretty, beautiful man or woman. Man, they look like some type of aircraft with a lot of circles, and they make diamonds and stuff to hide the truth because they know. Like, if you ever seen them big, giant George Washington buildings, like them big buildings in D.C. with the big old door, them was for giants. That's who built the pyramids and these buildings and shit, not humans. Humans ain't just build New York. They ain't telling you the truth. How all this stuff really got started is more supernatural and more spiritual than we think. The knowledge is powerful. They hide all this stuff. But they show you in movies and stuff, you know. Yeah, don't take the mark, man. Listen, the mark of the beast is coming. COVID was just a test ground to see who was going to sell out. It's just like a test run. Because, see, it was blasphemy and it was a mockery because Satan tried to copy everything that God do. He went straight for your DNA because your DNA spelled God. If we was to able to see that, you'll know about it in the spiritual life, but in this life, it's more secret. You have to kind of like be gifted. It's some real spiritual people here that probably actually spoke with God, with Jesus. Because nobody actually can see God, because when Moses was one of the people that actually talked to God himself. He had to go on a high mountain and he only spoke to God through clouds. And when he came back from that mountain, his face was so shiny that the other disciples was like, Moses, why your face so shiny? Because he spoke with God, because God got so much power that you can't speak on with him head on. That's why if you ever heard about the burning bush, the earth was more spiritual, man. It was, what we think is magic is not magic. Like if you saw in the book of, I mean, not the book, but when Moses went and got the slaves, was supposed to free the slaves out of Egypt. See, Egypt is Africa. You know, it been slaves coming from Africa, you know. And I ain't trying to say like, oh, that's a good thing or whatever. But that just show you how long the devil been doing this stuff. You know, God told him to go free them people. You know, them people was probably paying for they ancestors' sins. See, we could be punished just for our ancestors. Like me, we ask why life like this. And listen, you have babies that get killed. You know how many babies got killed when they came for Jesus, when they heard Jesus was born? Satan come to kill, steal, and destroy. He don't care about nothing else. And people wonder like, okay, if God created earth and he knew all this was gonna happen, Then why he created earth if he knew Satan was gonna, if he created Satan perfect, why Satan, why he even created it? Because far-fetched saying, you wouldn't even have a life. You'd be a robot if it wasn't for this ideal, you know. We can't comprehend, we can't think nothing outside of our human mind. But the only thing you can do is live right, like the two people that was on the cross. When the two people that died on the cross, both of them was a sinner. One right then and there say, I believe you, Lord. And he made it to heaven. And they ain't had nothing to do with all the bad stuff he even did. The other dude on the cross, he still ain't believed Jesus. So that tell you what type of people we have in the world. You have people in the world that don't bear the fruits from the same tree as you. Simply just didn't come from the same tree as you. Don't bear the fruits. And they talk about the tree. That's why your the app on the iPhone is on your iPhone, because it's all about the knowledge, you know? And that person just didn't bear the fruits. And he chose not to go to heaven. You can't make somebody believe in something they don't want to, man, But man, I can write a book on the miracles God did for me. I could tell you about stuff that I witnesses that was demonic, that I know wasn't from this earth, like the Slender Man. I saw that with my own, and you could take it or leave it. I don't care if you believe it or not, but I saw the Slender Man. I think it was twice or three times. Because I remember saying that night when I saw it, I said, God, let me see. If I see this again, I know that you were really showing me something for me to know. And I ain't gonna go into too many detail what all happened, but so many pictures and stuff that you see in the internet and on movies, man, these be real demonic creatures. This stuff don't be made up out of Hollywood for no reason, man. This stuff is real. Man, I guarantee you, don't open no Luigi board and don't seek for evilness. Like, he don't want really us to really listen to rap music and all of that. Because you got to think about it. Satan was the musician. Satan was the best singer in heaven. And now he on earth, and now you got ghostwriters and the music industry and the TV industry and the media industry is the biggest technology that go along with cars, planes, and trains and infrastructure. They call it the Tortarians, the giants. When you see them big infrastructure, old court systems in New York, like in the district over there, or in DC, them big giant buildings with the big round thing, and they make Abraham Lincoln look like a giant, because all of them come from the families of like Rothschild and all them families. They probably come from them damn Tortarians. They call them Tortarians, but I call them Nephilims and they offsprings. And it's true, man. You have families probably died by now. The Clinton family, all of them, the Trump family, all Trump family and Nikola Tesla, Trump uncle and Nikola Tesla and Trump uncle worked it together. That's how they stole the man, when the man died. That's how they stole all his inventions and shit. People got to believe heaven real. Yeah, man, listen, people don't believe this, but it's water up in the sky. And they don't want you to know that they never actually been out of space. They don't really want you to know, and that's true. Man, listen, when they shoot them rockets curl, and then they go to the ocean. They never actually get out the atmosphere. Listen, yeah, they got satellites in the sky, but that's in the sky. The moon not even out of space. The moon right here, the moon and the sun right here on Earth with us. That's why the sky blue. It talk about it in the Bible in Genesis. It say, water said, let the skies divide from the waters, separate from the waters. And that's why the Catholic book is saying when they flooded the earth, God opened the vault. Because see, Catholics, they believe that when you die, you go to purgatory, to a waiting place. Like if you were wicked You go to purgatory. But like I say, them be clones. I'm sorry if I'm dissing your religion or whatever, but I feel like most of them religion was created by Satan to make make Christianity look like an imposter. That's my belief, you know, and that's what I believe, you know, because they worship Mary, and you know, they feel like Mary should get all the enlightenment for bringing Jesus. But you know, Jesus didn't ask to come. That was the Spirit of God. And Jehovah Witnesses, they only believe in God. Like they only here to testify with God. They know Jesus was here and all, but they don't really go by Jesus. They go by God. That's why they Jehovah Witness. You know, and God said in order to get to heaven, you go through my only begotten son. Yeah, see the Illuminati is basically about heaven and hell. And I'm not on the 33rd degree. You might have some Freemasonries in here right now know more than I do. But even the regular Freemasonry don't know the fully truth like the ones at the top do. The ones at the top Freemasonry, they probably already dead or in Antarctica hiding in a cave or something. They probably are not even real human. The people that really know the actual truth. And when it come to sacrifice, like Epstein Island and all that kind of crap, man, Epstein, all we know, Epstein could be a shapeshifter. Him, Obama, Hillary, they could be playing. You ever seen that movie, Now They Seen You, Now We See You? It's a movie with Roddy Piper. When Roddy Piper take off them glasses, they look like demons. But when he put on the glasses, they demons. When he take off the glasses, they not demons. So Roddy Piper, the movie called, go look it up. It's an old classic movie called Now We See Them. I think that's the name of it. It's played with Roddy Piper, a white guy, because the white guy, Roddy Piper, he comes up, he trying to convince this black dude that he got some glasses where he can see demons. But they in human form when you not wearing them. When he not wearing the glasses, they regular people. And they work in the cash register. They work, they driving, they like regular people. So Roddy Piper trying to tell the black dude he can see them. That's the name of the movie. Now We See Them. And the black dude ain't trying to hear the stuff. Black dude trying to get in his car and go home. Man, it got so bad, Roddy Piper had to fight the black dude. And I ain't gonna lie, man, this black dude here, man, I'm talking about, he was solid. And man, he was just one of them original black mans, bro. You know, he ain't smoke, he ain't drink, he just work hard. He was trying to go to his family. But man, I ain't gonna lie, he was kind of bigger than Roddy, but he was kicking Roddy's ass. But some kind of way, Roddy wound up kicking his ass. And Roddy had put the glasses on him. And when Roddy put the glasses on him, the black man looked up and he looked at the supposed to be civilians, like regular people. He looked at them and the regular people, because once you put on them glasses and you see them, when they realize that you can see them, the only thing they don't want you to know is that they real. Because if you know they real, you going to hell. That's another story though. But when that black man looked up and saw them with the glasses on and he saw that they was demons in human forms, the demons immediately reacted like they knew that they was being seen. And that's why the whole movie was basically about Roddy Piper and the black dude. They was fighting together and they was basically, basically the movie tried to play it off. You know, the movie tried to play it off like it's just some show. You know, they ain't gonna show you too much. Hey. You know, they ain't gonna show you too much, like the Truman Show. If you ever heard of the Truman Show. The Truman Show was another one when the world different now. Facts. Everybody wants some paper. The Trinity. Every religion group are against each other. There's 1,000 religion groups, but it's all come down to the creator. Yep. Stay safe, man. So the Truman Show is another show about first I want to talk about the Matrix. People don't believe how much of a deeper meaning that the Matrix actually got. You know, I'm gonna show you how cold these movies is and how I believe Hollywood and all of them actually could be connected to the devil. Cause it's like you either could be getting your power from God or from the devil. You know, and I'm being honest, man. I'm telling you, that's the only way I see it. The movie, I forgot the guy's name. You know what? We're gonna talk about that another day. Because I forgot the main actor. I forgot his name. But he played in the Boys in the Hood. And people don't know this. The Boys in the Hood is kind of connected to the Matrix. Because it's talk about, man, but that's another story. We're gonna say that for another story, y'all. But this Earth, the Truman Show, that one is about I think Jim Carrey played that movie. Jim Carrey. And basically Jim Carrey will wake up and he realized like something not right. His wife, his everyday living, his community. He just realized that, you know, his life is being scripted. And the whole time the sky and everything was fake. You know, but like I say, they only show you a little bit of stuff. You know, they only show you a little bit of stuff, man. But it's some mysteries out here, man. We may never crack. But like I say, you know, only thing I can say focus on is really if you really can double bullet and pictures bullets shooting in space. Have you ever seen the devil advocate? Nope. Sound familiar though. And think I'm about getting ready to go in now. Yeah. The human body, man, is a great invention, you know. We produce electric. You know, we have electric in our body, you know. And I think that right there alone is, that's why I say, you know, if a person can reach their top potential, their top capacity, you know, you'll be worth $1 million just off of being a healthy human with reaching your top capacity. And that don't even include like education capacity. Your physical capacity can be more than your mental, you know. And I ain't saying just having talent. I'm just saying by being man, people don't know this, man. I feel like even if, for example, even if you was what they call it, it's a disability, artistic, like me, I'm autistic. You know, you can look good or be in the right place and be worth $1 million, you know, if you put your mind to it. But let's be honest, we don't have potential. Most of us don't have potential and we don't believe in ourselves enough because when you there at night and you wake up and you by yourself, being alone is one of the most, it's another real invention that God made, loneliness, you know. And it just shows the reality of everything. Like, okay, this life is real. It brings you back to reality. That's what loneliness is about. And when you there, you don't have nobody to push you. You don't have no motivation. So we not gonna be the best to our capacity because we need some type of closure like money or attention, or so we don't have no motivation and we don't really do anything. All right, guys. I guess my phone froze while on the elevator. Bad service. Talk to you later. Love you all. See you soon. Give you one quick view before I go. All right. Damn. Left the light on and the door open. But yeah,